The SEC, they just delayed the decision on approving a Bitcoin ETF, actually. And this is really big news because there's been a lot of talks about Bitcoin ETFs for a while now. Institutions have wanted multiple ways to invest in Bitcoin for a while. Right now, they can invest directly into Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. They can invest into Coinbase, which has exposure to all cryptocurrencies. But to have the underlying Bitcoin, to actually own underlying Bitcoin, they can't invest directly into Bitcoin, but if they could, they can invest into, let's say, a Bitcoin ETF. And now the SEC officially delayed this decision. And this is important because right now they have close to a dozen different requests to approve different Bitcoin ETFs. And they said really why they're not approving it right now is for like 3 different reasons. They said the first reason is that Bitcoin is very volatile. Volatility is something that they have a hard time comprehending, a hard time approving this because the SEC just has a difficult job balancing the desire that people have to invest into Bitcoin and balancing that desire with the risk and the volatility behind Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general. The second thing is with market maturity. So previously, for the last couple of years, a lot of different companies have asked for approval to release a Bitcoin ETF. But previously, the cryptocurrency market was much smaller. There wasn't as much traction in it. It was just, more of an idea, not as much of actual use cases. But now people are starting to accept it more. And because the market has matured a lot more for cryptocurrencies in general, I think we're going to see them start to, change their mind and see this, start to think that approving a Bitcoin ETF is the right thing to do. Third thing going on is that the SEC has a lot on its plate. So Canada approved 3 different Ethereum ETFs earlier this year. Brazilian regulators reportedly approved 2 Bitcoin ETFs. And now we're seeing many other countries around the world start to approve Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency ETFs. So this is really important. This may actually be a positive for the US and us seeing a Bitcoin ETF soon because it could pressure regulators into not being so far behind. Make sure they stay up to date. Make sure they get something passed so other countries don't get ahead. They don't want people putting capital into other markets. They want to make sure all the capital stays in US markets. So those are signs of why we could see one happen sooner. But the SEC officially did announce that they are delaying the approval of a Bitcoin ETF, delaying their decision on it. So we're still going to see a couple more weeks at least until we see a decision made. They said there's a 45-day window for the VanEck Bitcoin ETF, which they just recently extended. It was supposed to end on May 3rd, but they did extend that for a couple more weeks. So we'll see what happens there. But once this is approved, I think we'll see a lot more institutions, even more so than we're already seeing, start to get into Bitcoin. Because while we have seen the price increase drastically over the last couple of weeks and, over the last year, the big thing to remember is that still a large portion of institutions and companies don't invest in Bitcoin. And that is something that we will just see over time. So yes, there are, companies like Tesla. There are companies that have invested hundreds of millions, billions of dollars into Bitcoin, but majority of them still are not invested. So for people who think they're late into Bitcoin, late into Ethereum, you're definitely not late because most of the big money, the large institutions, still don't invest in Bitcoin. It is just something that they don't understand or they think is too risky. So once we're starting to see these Bitcoin ETFs approved, we're going to see more and more capital flow into Bitcoin, causing the price to skyrocket significantly. I think pushing it well above that $100,000 per coin range.